Alrighty,
How's it
John.
going, Dr. Breed?
It's going good. Life's good. Just sitting at this company over at Edison, just kind of doing my thing.
Yeah. Yeah, you're the big man over there, so you can
Big
kind of
cheese.
do whatever you want, I guess.
Yeah.
So, well, thanks for taking some time to chat with me again. I'm excited to have this opportunity, I guess, to discuss, some business, but also I want to try and get to know you a little bit better and just make sure that we're a good fit.
Absolutely.
So I'm sure you're interested in the same thing. So, first and foremost, I guess you're the big man over there at Edison. I'm just curious, what interests you in this business idea that my dad talked to you about?
Yeah, I just want to get some more info from you as well, just because with my limited knowledge. I think what interests me the most is just the opportunity for growth. I see a lot of inefficiencies over at Edison, where if they just tapped into this market is huge, but they don't want to innovate. And I think that's what kind of your goal is.
Absolutely.
If I'm being correct here. But so I think if we can innovate, I think that's where a lot of the success and growth will come from if we align our goals on that. What's kind of your long-term plan with this? Where do you see it going? What's your ideal situation?
Yeah, so, I really believe this idea is a solid concept, something that's going to be able to stand the test of time. And, 10, 15, 20 years from now, I can see us, becoming what Edison is.
Bigger.
Even bigger, absolutely. In the short term, I want to get this thing up and running. I'm finishing up school now and excited about the opportunity of kind of doing my own thing, getting my own thing running. And I think, within the next 1 to 2, 3 years, we can really have this thing going and making some big bucks out of it,
What makes you want to do it? Because, you have a good job right now with working with your dad, right?
So I'm actually doing my own, I'm working, consulting privately with another company. And, I recognize I could work for my dad too. And it's not something I'm crazy about doing. I kind of just have an independent nature, I guess, and having my dad be my boss is not what I'm looking for right now. I don't know, maybe somewhere down the road I might be interested, but for now I'm excited about this new degree, this shiny degree that I've got, and excited to get out and make some money with it and be able to call my own shots a little bit and have some fun while I'm doing it too.
Cool. Is there any, because we're going to be a partnership, right? Is there any make or breaks, or what's kind of your standards that you're looking for? And I'm very curious on that because I've seen, like I said, there's some business practices that happens that I'm not the best with, or not okay with. But I think if we can kind of align our visions and our goals, it makes it a lot easier. So. Yeah,
totally. I'm glad you brought that up because that's something. The way the culture is around here, I guess there's a lot of kind of corruption, a lot of bribery, and dishonesty going on in business, and that's something that straight up front I'm not really willing to participate in. If that's something that you are not willing to budge on, and that's something that you're a part of, then I don't know that it's going to work out. But if it's something that you're able to not be a part of, and we can start up this thing from the ground, totally honest and upfront and develop that solid reputation, then I think this is something that could work. I'm curious, I guess, to learn a little bit more about your background and whether you think that's a possibility of not participating in any bribery or other forms of corruption.
I think we can make it work. The reason I did ask that with you is one of the top salesmen over here. I think we could pull him over with us. It's just, I don't think he has the best reputation with that. So if that's kind of a make or break, I don't think we would pull him over with you. But as far as me go, my standards, I think we can make it work.
Good.
Cool. Yeah, I think it'll take a little bit of time, but we can definitely pull something together. And I think, like you said, if we do it right, it's gonna pay off in the long run.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm interested in starting off right, and if we get this thing going with a good reputation, and maybe we can try and bring somebody else along down the road. But the reputation of honesty and integrity is more important to me for sure.
Great. Yeah, I think we can make that work. The position that we're both in right now, I think we both need each other.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
You can't do it without me, and I can't do it without you. I'm in the position where I'm getting close to retirement, so it's either I stay here and kind of do it, or I jump off on my own with you, and we can kind of run with this idea. What do you kind of need from me, and what are you kind of looking for?
Yeah. So, up front, the most valuable thing, I think the reason that I need you is your experience and your know-how and your connections, I guess, to the market, particularly in China. And, that's something that just starting off, I have the drive, I have the energy and the excitement, but I don't have the
kind
relationships. Exactly. Okay. And that's what you have. And I think, you partnering up with me immediately provides some real credibility to the company, and
it's huge.
You're that big name
it's huge in the Chinese market.
Totally. So that's what I'm looking for, I guess, out of this partnership. What are you kind of hoping to get out of it?
To be honest with you, I mean, I would love to kind of basically mentor you out of it, use the connections, use me, and then kind of phase out. I'm getting kind of old. Like you said, you have the drive. You're the young buck, right?
Yeah.
I think it would be great if I could kind of, because I got a little life. I may be old, but I ain't cold, right?
Yeah.
Got a little life in me left. So if we could work something out, or maybe for a couple years, kind of in that mentor, just kind of steering the ship, and then I take a back seat and kind of let you run with it after a while. Mm-hmm. I think that's kind of what my ideal situation would be.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. I know you and my dad have kind of worked together on a few projects and stuff in the past. What's your relationship with him?
Yeah.
Like, he connected us and stuff, but I don't know too much about it.
I mean, we were in college together, and we've worked on a couple of projects. That's why we had that relationship, and I think it's just very casual, very business, very personal. And that's why I like working with them. And that's why I was willing to sit down and hear your ideas and pick your little brain. Or not your little brain, pick your brain.
My big brain.
Your big brain. Sorry. As far as like the pay structure goes, what are you looking for as far as the company? Because if this is going to be a partnership, there's got to be some give and take, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I talked to you about in the beginning, I'm really motivated to have a say in a lot of the decisions and a lot of the, especially the big decisions that we need to make. And having established this idea, myself, it's not something that I just want to give away right away, as I'm sure you can understand. But I also recognize that, you provide a lot of things that I can't get on my own. So, I understand that there has to be some give and take there. What, in terms of like, are you talking equity or pay, or how?
Yeah.
What are you thinking in coming over?
Well, if we're going to be a partnership, I think obviously 50-50 would be great in the company, right? And then I think what we could do is kind of phase it out when you start taking over more and kind of running with it. Because I got a plan for retirement, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So is that something that you're willing to, like, as you phase out, you're willing to kind of give up some of that equity, or the other way around, you want to kind of start small and gain equity for retirement?
I think maybe if we phase out and give you a majority shares after a couple years, I think that's probably what I would be most interested in.
Okay. And in terms of like upfront capital and stuff, I mean, I know you're obviously loaded, but how much are you willing to set aside on this project?
How much do we need?
So I think as we've looked and talked a little bit about, somewhere in the $500,000 will pounds or whatever we use here will help us really get the ball rolling. Okay. And my dad has some money, and he's willing to invest in this as well. So I think from you, somewhere in maybe $200,000 range, somewhere like that.
Okay.
Is that something you can do?
Do you want your dad to have a part in it as well? Or would you rather just partner with you and I?
I'd rather just keep it between you and I and kind of pay my dad back as we get the ball rolling faster.
Okay.
But if something along the lines, you know, of you putting in 250 and him putting in 250, and then, you know, I'll be able to pay him back in the next 5 or 10 years.
Okay. What if we had this option? What if I took care of everything, the 500,000, and that way we kind of cut out the middleman, so it's just you and I, and we can work out some kind of upfront commission pay, so that way I get paid back, and then that way you're not in debt to anybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that a lot. My only reservation, I guess, is I would like to be able to maintain more than just 50% of the equity. Yeah,
okay.
I'm willing to, I recognize your knowledge that I don't have, and I'm willing to kind of take a back seat in terms of like position and let you kind of, you know, take over as CEO and get it going,
okay.
but still maintain equity, and that would allow you to kind of get paid back a little faster, I think. And
well, what kind of share majority share are you kind of thinking?
So somewhere in like the 60-40 split, something like that would be appealing to me for sure. I don't know, is that something that you're willing to work out? Yeah,
why don't we do this? I'll take the as far as timing goes, what kind of time span are you looking for me to be in charge of being the CEO and then switch?
Mm-hmm. So maybe like 3 to 5 years. When are you trying to retire, I guess would be the better question.
If I stick with this company, I'll retire the next year.
Okay.
If I don't, then we have to figure something out between us for retirement.
And are you wanting to retire in a year, or you feel like you still got some more years of fight in you? You can
got
be
some
ready.
Juice.
This will energize you a little bit.
Yeah.
So maybe hypothetically, like in the next 5 years or so, you'd want to be retiring, and then if you were to jump over.
Yeah. What if we did 3 years? I mean, you seem pretty eager. I don't want to extinguish your fire.
Yeah.
What if we did for 3 years? I'll take that position, and then we can switch at the end of it. We'll do a 60-40 split and go from there.
Okay. So you take 40%, run the company as the CEO. I'll be your COO or something along those lines, where I'm still involved, obviously, and then maintain my 60.
Yeah.
3 years from now, then you kind of step aside as like a consultant or advisor or whatever you want to be called.
Yeah. And you'll still have my communication or connections and everything.
Yeah. Okay. I'm really interested in that. And then at that point, how do we want to divide up the equity at that point? Then when you kind
of take that back seat.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you have in mind?
Well, obviously, if you're not going to be as involved, I think a step down in terms of ownership would be preferred for me. I want you to be taken care of and definitely compensated, so you can enjoy, retirement for what you've done to help me too. So, if we were just step it down to maybe 70-30 or something at the point that you retire, that'd still give you a healthy retirement. You can travel and do whatever you want with the grandkids and stuff.
Right.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think we can definitely make that work. So just for communication, so at the end of 3 years, or for 3 years, I'll have the 40% equity, and then at the end of that 3 years, we'll switch and do 30-70, and then I'll be on as an advisor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As far as the first year goes, I can't own more than 5% in the company because I'm going to be leaving this company and being their competitor.
Okay.
So what's a way that we can kind of maybe swap some numbers around that just makes it make sense for both of us?
So you can't exceed 5% in
the first year.
Within the first year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm just trying to think out loud then. After a year, then you can take your 40
Mm-hmm.
and take the 5 until then. What interests you, I guess, other than equity? Then what are you looking for that year?
I guess maybe the faster I can get paid back for the loan, the better. You know, because if I do the 500,000, it makes it a lot easier, a lot simpler. So what if we did a little commission or percent per unit moved, and that way we can get paid back faster.
Okay.
And that way we're not sucking money from the company either.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, so you take 5% then for the first year, 5% equity, and then take a commission
10 cents per
unit, and that will motivate you, I guess, to connect us with some
Absolutely.
suppliers and get you paid back. So
that would motivate me a ton as well.
Okay, absolutely. I'm totally fine with that. And then at 1 year, you'll take on an additional 35% for 2 more years. At which point, then we'll drop you down to 30.
And then you take the reins.
Cool. All right, dude. I like it.
Sweet.
Hey, doctor, I appreciate it.
Great. Any other questions or anything, or?
No, I think that's good for me. Obviously, we'll be working a lot together going forward. But
yeah.
For this meeting, I've got all my questions.
I'm excited to work with you.
Cool. Thanks.